shadow frequency, where the veil between this world and the next grows thin, and the things that whisper in the dark are given voice. From the cryptic candlelit studios, deep in the Indiana forests, your host, Matt Wilson, and his spectral producer, Juniper Ravenwood, unearth the forbidden, the forgotten, and the fearsome. So, still your heart, dim the light, and listen closely. For once you tune into the shadow frequency, you may never tune out.
One, two. All right, let's see what's filed itself in here tonight. Oh, that's comforting.
What did you find this time?
A sealed evidence bag.
Evidence of what?
A label says returned by itself.
Yeah, that goes right back in the drawer.
Ugh, what else have we got? Oh, here's a flashlight.
Does it work?
Doesn't even have batteries.
And?
It flickers during thunderstorms.
Also back in the cabinet.
Yeah. Hold on. A newspaper clipping.
Anything interesting?
Yes, dated 3 days from now.
Okay, yeah, that one definitely goes back.
Yeah. Digging a little deeper. Oh, here we go.
What's tonight's file?
Episode 295, The Tunnels Between Worlds.
Ancient caves, hidden passageways.
And legends that say some tunnels don't just go underground.
They go somewhere else entirely. Tonight, we open the file on the tunnels between worlds.
You are tuned to the shadow frequency, where every whisper tells a story from beyond the veil. Hosted by Matt Wilson. Produced by Juniper Ravenwood. With Chris Beach. The darkness continues.
Listeners, close your eyes for a moment and feel the weight of the earth pressing down. Imagine stepping off the last ray of sunlight into a blackness so absolute it steals your breath and your sense of direction. That's where our journey begins tonight. Episode 295 of The Shadow Frequency, The Tunnels Between Worlds. From forgotten cave temples to sprawling underground cities, ancient cultures whispered of doorways to other realms. Tonight, we descend into the shadowy frequency itself.
Juniper, you just gave half the audience goosebumps before I even said hello.
Yeah.
I love it. Folks, if you're listening in the dark, perfect. Tonight, we're cracking open a file that's been buried deeper than most people dare to go.
The file's open, Matt. Time to step inside.
Thanks, Juniper, for digging into the file cabinet and pulling out one of the oldest, coldest cases we've ever covered. All right, friends, let's crack open this folder together. Picture this. You're standing at the mouth of a cave. The air turns icy the second you cross the threshold. Your flashlight beam dies against wet stone walls that seem to breathe. Every culture on Earth, no matter how separated by oceans or centuries, told the same story. Caves aren't just holes in the ground, they're thresholds. Doorways where the world of the living kisses the realm of the dead, or maybe something far stranger. Let's start in Turkey beneath the fairy tale landscape of Cappadocia. Hidden under the modern town of Derinkuyu lies an entire subterranean metropolis carved straight into volcanic rock. 18 levels deep, plunging 85 meters into the earth. It could shelter 20,000 people, plus their livestock, food stores, even churches and wineries. Narrow tunnels twist like veins. Air shafts punch upward like chimneys from another world. And massive stone doors could roll shut to seal out what exactly? Invaders? Or something that doesn't belong in daylight? Locals say the city was rediscovered in 1963 when a man smashed through his basement wall and found a passage that just kept going and going into perfect engineered darkness. But what if those builders weren't only hiding from armies? What if they were guarding or using something older? Now cross the ocean to Belize and slip into Actun Tunichil Muknal, the cave of the crystal sepulchre. The ancient Maya called these chambers entrances to Xibalba, the place of fear, the underworld ruled by death gods. Inside you'll find the Crystal Maiden, the calcified skeleton of a young person, maybe 17, whose bones sparkle like frozen starlight because the cave itself slowly claimed them. Pottery lines scattered with deliberate kill holes punched through the bottoms to release trapped spirits. Altars rise where stalactites were reshaped into silhouettes of faces and beasts that seem to watch you move. The Maya didn't stumble in here for shelter. They came to bargain with whatever lives on the other side. Blood offerings, ritual dances, souls sent through the veil. And those who returned spoke of voices that weren't human, lights that moved without wind, and passages that felt alive. Then there's Mammoth Cave in Kentucky, the longest known cave system on the planet. Thousands of years before Columbus, indigenous people crept inside carrying nothing but bundled cane torches. They mined shimmering gypsum and myriobite from the walls, left woven sandals, gourd bowls, even petroglyphs that still whisper in the dark. Mummies were discovered deep in the side chambers, bodies preserved by the cave's own breath. Why risk the crushing dark for minerals unless those minerals held power, or unless the cave itself offered something worth the danger? Explorers still report sudden cold spots, distant footsteps when no one else is there, and the unmistakable feeling that they're being escorted deeper by presences that never quite show themselves. Here's where the story stops being local and starts feeling planetary. Modern researchers and ancient mystery voices alike point to a pattern too consistent to ignore. These sites sit on what some call Earth energy grids, ley lines, vortex points, places where the veil thins. The claim is that Derinkuyu, the Maya cave systems, Mammoth Caves, and hundreds of others were never isolated. They were nodes in a prehistoric network, tunnels either physically carved or dimensionally aligned, linking distant continents and, some say, different realities. Ancient builders, or the beings who taught them, understood the earth is honeycombed with hidden routes. Caves weren't shelters, they were transit stations, portals. You descend into one and you don't just lose sunlight, you lose time. People report hours vanishing in minutes. Strange lights dance ahead, guiding or luring. Whispers echo in languages no living tongue remembers. And every culture left the same warning. Go deep enough and you might not come back as the person who went in. Friends, we're only halfway down. The tunnels are calling. That's the first descent, and my skin's still crawling. Juniper, what are you feeling right now?
Like I should check the locks of every basement door in the studio. Seriously unnerving.
Stick around. After the break, we're going to go even deeper with a few lights that refuse to stay off. Over to you, Juniper, for the break.
Phew, we've only scratched the surface of these tunnels between worlds, and already the walls feel closer. What are you thinking out there in the dark, listeners? Are you ready for the second half? Because Matt's about to shine a light on the portal lore that's been hiding in plain sight. But first, over to Chris for a quick word.
Thanks, Juniper. Just a quick reminder for everybody listening. Please hit that like and subscribe button on whatever app or platform you're using, because that really does help the show with the algorithms. You can keep up with us on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Rumble, and all the major podcast directories. Also, make sure you stop by shadowfrequencypodcast.com for our full episode archive, companion blog articles, store, show notes, and contact options, including voice messages we might use on a future episode. And if you'd like to support the show, you can buy us a coffee right there on the site. Now let's send it back to Juniper.
Thanks, Chris. Time to fire up the spectrocosmic message materializer. Flipping the switches. Let's see what ethereal whispers it conjures from the void. Ah, here's a strange little note drifting through the static.
Message retrieved from the void.
Let's pry it open now and see what our listener had to say. This one says, my name is Kevin from Kansas, and I just wanted to say how much I enjoy the Shadow Frequency. I listen on Spreaker during my commute back and forth to work, and with an hour-long drive each way, your show really helps fill the time. My favorite episodes are the ones about conspiracies and anything dealing with ancient astronauts. Keep up the great work. I look forward to every new episode. Best, Kevin from Kansas. Wow, Kevin from Kansas, you just made our night. We love hearing that the show rides shot down on those long commutes, especially when you're into the same ancient astronautic conspiracy vibes we chase down here. Thank you for riding with us through the dark. If you got a story, a theory, or just want to say hi, drop us a line at shadowpodcast@protonmail.com. We read every single one. All right, Matt, your turn to take us into the second descent.
You are tuned to the Shadow Frequency, where every whisper tells a story from beyond the veil. The darkness continues.
Thanks, Juniper, and a big shout out to Kevin. Safe travels, my friend. We're glad the tunnels keep you company on the road. So we left off with the idea that these caves weren't random holes, they were stations on a global grid. Now let's step through the doorway into the lore that turns myth into something operational. Across the world, the stories line up like tunnel markers. The Maya spoke of Xibalba as a labyrinth of trials, rivers of blood, scorpion gods, chambers where time folded. Greek heroes descended into caves to reach Hades. Norse sagas and native traditions worldwide describe ancestors emerging from the earth or vanishing into it forever. Modern witnesses report the same updates: sudden missing time inside caverns, orbs of light that follow hikers who never asked to be followed, shadowy figures that step out of solid rock, and voices that call your name in a tone no human throat could make. Some researchers tie it to Earth energies, places where magnetic fields or underground water create natural portals. Others go further. The tunnels were engineered by a lost civilization, or by the same non-human intelligence that left pyramids and crop circles. The caves sit on ley line intersections, acting like subway stops between dimensions. Walk far enough and you might step out on the other side of the planet, or somewhere the sky has 2 moons. People still disappear near these sites. Search teams find flashlights still glowing but no footprints leading out. Hikers emerge days later with stories of rooms that shouldn't exist and beings that watch them without eyes. The Crystal Maiden wasn't just a sacrifice. She might have been a traveler who never made the return trip. Those gypsum miners in Mammoth Cave could have been harvesting something that powered the grid itself. And Derinkuyu's rolling stone doors? Maybe they weren't keeping marmies out. Maybe they were keeping something in. Now I have to pause for one breath of daylight here because it's only fair. Skeptics say it's all psychology and geology. The dark plays tricks, caves echo, fear fills in the blanks. Fair point. But when the same patterns repeat on every continent, separated by thousands of miles and thousands of years with identical descriptions of lights, voices, and lost time, well, that starts to feel less like coincidence and more like a map somebody forgot to hide. So what did the ancients really believe? They didn't call them interdimensional portals with sci-fi flair. They simply knew the earth held sacred entrances to another realm. Places where gods walked, ancestors waited, and the living could bargain with forces older than language. The tunnels between worlds weren't conspiracy, they were cosmology. And maybe that's the deepest truth. We don't need a literal subway system under the continents to feel the pull. Every time someone steps into a cave and feels watched, every time a light moves where no light should, every time hours vanish underground, the old question returns. What if the doors are still open? Friends, the earth is whispering. The only question left is whether you're brave enough to listen. That's the final descent for tonight. The tunnels are waiting, but they don't wait forever. Juniper, your thoughts?
I'm equal parts fascinated and ready to sleep with the lights on. That skepticism moment actually made the mystery hit harder.
Exactly. We chase the shadows, but we never forget the flashlight. Thanks for riding these tunnels with us, everyone.
We've just walked the tunnels between worlds, from Derinkuyu's hidden metropolis to the sparkling bones of the Crystal Maiden and the endless passages of Mammoth Cave. Ancient doorways, global grids, and whispers from the other side all still waiting underground. Thank you for joining us on episode 295 of The Shadow Frequency. Send your stories, theories, or late-night cave encounters to shadowpodcast@protonmail.com. Find more episodes and extras at shadowfrequencypodcast.com. And come hang with us on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and Rumble. Matt, you want to say goodnight?
Stay out of the dark, or at least bring a friend who knows the way back. Good night, everybody.
Sweet dreams, or whatever passes for them down there. We'll see you next time for another strange taste. The Shadow Frequency is now closed.
This episode was conjured with a solemn vow to explore the unexplained while remaining bound to the truths that have been unearthed. All interpretations are speculative and offered only for your enlightenment and your entertainment.